Hi there, thank you for your attention and let's talk about investing. Let me brief you into what I'm going to talk to you about today. I'm going to first cover what is investing so it's easier for you to follow the presentation. Then we'll move on to statistics and data analysis and what did I found, and lastly, why all of this even matters. So what is investing? Based on Google terminology, investing is putting money into financial schemes in the expectations of achieving a profit. But is that it? Well, not really. For the past 3 years, not only Latvia, but the global financial system as a whole faced significant inflation spikes. And if we consider the actual cost of living for everyday workers, this is creating a huge dent where wages are just outpaced by inflation by massive margins. So, what does it mean for you? Let's say you earned $100 and everything around you costs $300, goods, services, costs, all that. Through inflation or money dilution, everything starts to cost even more, like from 300 up to 30,000. But your boss understands this, so he gives you a raise, but the raise bumps it up from 100 to 300. So you are in a position where you get more, but everything around costs even more. We can see that in charts as well. If we take, for example, the global reserve currency, US dollar, it is on a clear downtrend. It doesn't happen overnight, but it is on a downtrend, which means that the US dollar just gradually gets less and less valuable. So let's wrap it up for investing. You are in a position where all your income and all your expenses contribute through currency, which gradually just is worth less and less until it becomes worthless. And it is important to know these two truths. One is that financial and monetary policy works with inflation. It needs inflation to sustain the economy and sustain our capitalism system. So that's not going away. But the other thing is that wage increases will never outpace the growth of inflation. So you are left in a position where gradually you will get poorer even though you get more money through wage increases. So what is investing? Is it really just to put money in and expect some kind of a profit? No, that's not the case. Investing, proper investing, is holding your purchasing powers in assets that outpace inflation. So even though you may make money from financial instrument investing, if the inflation outpaces it, you still actually lose your purchasing power. With that in mind, let's move on to the project. My goals for the project was to understand how many people participate in investing in Baltic countries, as well as look at the trend lines, where do people save, invest their money, and seek room for potential growth. The project started off with project planning as always, and then there was this major part which was research, and then the results or findings which I'm sharing with you today. So the project planning took place in protocol in the Teams template. I really liked it because at the first day I just laid out everything that I need to do in order to complete the project in time and in good quality. Here are some pictures of the databases that I did manage to find. These are my Excel files with all the links and all the information that I could come by, and there was a lot of it. But truthfully, a lot of the information was actually misleading, but on that a little bit later. So let's deep dive the actual data and statistics. So how many people do invest in Baltics? What about wages? And what about savings and investing trends? This one was a hard nut to crack because on one hand, SEB Banka reported that Latvian investor amount decreases, while on the other hand, Swedbank says that Latvian investor amount increases. It is obvious that they are talking about their clients, but they are representing in a way that it applies to all the Latvians. So it was really hard to come by with concrete numbers. I did listen podcasts, watch interviews, analyze databases, and these are the figures that I came up with. On average, Baltic country investors are similarly the same. They are 1% of the population, and the trend line is positively increasing, even though we had COVID crash and the 2022 market meltdown. What about wages? We can see on the left side we have number of employees that have high school education or professional education, and on the right side we can see the same graph but for job takers that have higher education or university degrees. We can see a massive slowdown when the wages start to exceed 3,000 euros per month brutto. This means that majority of the people earn less than $3,000 per month. And if we consider the cost of living, it means that there isn't like really much money to operate with, to save, invest, or diversify it for your future financial stability. Let's dive deeper. What about investing instruments and gross household savings and investments? This is an awesome chart where I could compare Europe Union's average to each country specifically. And we can see that the Estonians invest the most amount of their gross household into investments, while Latvia is the country that invests the least, while Lithuania maintains the average. And if we take a closer look into Lithuania, people prefer to save in cash, in bank accounts, in pension funds, and in life insurance, which is quite okay, I guess. But what about most preferred investment options for Lithuanians? The first one by far is real estate, and then to my surprise a large majority do prefer gold and artwork as their investment, while super low percentage actually does stock or bond investment. And there is a portion of other category, but that could be third pension plan, life insurance, or even cryptocurrencies if you would. What about Latvians? This question was about where do you invest your financial savings, and majority of the voters responded that they just save money in cash or in bank deposits. But also top of the list was third pension plan, and of course real estate as always, and as well life insurance, while cryptocurrencies and stock investment options were just occupied by few of the respondents. So what are the findings here? Few people invest. Those that do are missing the point about outpacing the inflation. And cost of living is just making it difficult, because how can we invest or save if majority of our money goes to just cover our basic needs? So is there anything else? Yes, there is. I wanted to learn, where do people actually get information about investing? What is in their opinion good or bad investment, and what about financial skill? Perhaps people have the money but just don't have the skill to do it. When asked Latvian investors where do they get information, it's not a surprise, but majority gets their information from Latvian-based mass media, which in my opinion is just the worst place to get your financial information about. However, there is no clear winner here, because a lot of people have a lot of opinions and a lot of expectations, so they seek the information elsewhere. And foreign investors or asset managers are also in the list. What about investor opinion? And this was an interesting one. The survey asked to rank from very bad to very good, what do they think about an investment vehicle? And of course, the top of the pile is real estate, where people said this is the flat out the best investment, while cryptocurrency is the worst one. Even though if we want to really outpace inflation, it's going to be vice versa, because real estate, it can beat inflation, but first of all, it requires a lot of money. If you take mortgage, it's already a losing game. What about exposure to information and financial tools? And it's no surprise that people in Lithuania, and that could be applied to Baltics, are most aware about debt, mortgages, credit cards, all the things that actually dig the hole deeper for you. And things like investment funds were the least known instrument, which is actually the safest and the best if you want to just beat the inflation. And what about finance skill? Estonians, on the other hand, have the highest financial skill per citizen, but one of the lowest participation rates when it comes to investing. Latvia is one of the least favorites if you want to bet it up for financial skill and competence, but investment participation is just a bit higher than Estonia. So what are the conclusions here? If you are not investing, the stable life methodology or ideology is actually a path for you to become poorer through inflation money delusion, as we discussed previously. The higher the risk, the worse people think the investment is, even though it is absolutely vice versa. If we actually want to gain net profit, not just get profit, and then inflation outpaces it and we are just left with still a net minus even though we got more money. Majority have no clue what inflation actually means, and by that I mean money delusion. The fact that our euro currency over time will be worth less and less, and it's not going to change. And some people do know about it, some people do know about investing, but fewer invest. This is a visual representation why this actually matters, because even though it may seem impossible, we're living good lives, but this is the path that we are heading to if we are operating in fiat currencies like euros and we are not investing. We're gonna face ourselves in situations where our purchasing power just gets diminished through money delusion, through currency delusion. We will have to take out more loans to make ends meet. We will have financial stress and obligations to meet, which is just not going to be enjoyable for us, and it will be a big burden until we will face Venezuela situation, if you know what I mean by that. So, the golden question, how to beat inflation? I would really love to continue this project into finance market course where we could analyze and discuss multiple assets that we could invest in and look at the performance compared to inflation and seek the best investment vehicle for us to actually beat inflation and start making real money from investing. With that, thank you for your attention, and I'm looking forward to your questions.